Hi folks, Swiss Bohemian here. Since my last Japanese manga haul, I got around 60 more new manga in English and in French. Today, let me talk you about an author I just recently discovered, and that is Junji Ito. These are all manga by him. I love Junji Ito's work. What I have read so far, it's just really captivating to me. You have maybe realized that I mostly buy fluffy stuff. I like slice of life manga, I like romantic comedy manga, and Junji Ito's work is so far away from that for me this is a breath of fresh air. So I started with Uzumaki in German, which I don't have it here right now because I gave it to my mother. I hope she's reading it right now. And then I continued with a lot of his works in English. And I got here, for example, Shiver and Smashed, and both contain some really good short stories. I personally prefer the short stories in Shiver a little bit more. There is one with a really great idea, and this is with some balloons which hang people, and the balloons have the face of the people they hang. I really loved this story. It was so good. There's also a short story called The Long Dream with a person who has longer and longer dreams, and this affects his body, so his face starts to like really transform. He looks like a mutant. And this story is really horrible but also fascinating at the same time. Shiver also contains the short story Shiver, in which people get like a really strange disease. They get like holes over their whole body, like here you can see this person here, and these holes get bigger and bigger. It's like the wind can flow through their bodies, and this is really a nightmarish story. I loved it. Smash also contains some really good short stories. I especially liked Earthbound, in which some people take some strange poses and they stay like that and they cannot be moved. And there's a reason behind it, and the reason is quite horrific. Smashed also contains the short story of a boy called Soichi, who is like a devil's boy. He has nails in his mouth. And I didn't quite like these short stories. They're not bad, but they were not quite as good as the other story, I felt. Remina, Hell Planet is another great story of Junji Ito. This is a story about a strange planet approaching Earth, and this planet has like a huge tongue, and it's about to destroy Earth. The main characters are a professor and a girl called Remina. The professor discovered the planet Remina, and he named the planet after his daughter. And Remina is really beautiful, and she's like a kind of idol, and people fall in love with her. The problem is because the planet is approaching and it looks like it's going to destroy the Earth, is that people make a connection between Remina, the girl, and the planet, and they think that they have to kill the girl in order to stop like the world's destruction. And from there on, the story just escalates more and more, and the drawings are really great, and the setup is absurd. I love this manga a lot. Center is another great story. It's a story of a village which is nearby a volcano, and the volcano spits out kind of special ash which looks like human hair. The people in the village call the ash Amagami. And a young woman is visiting the village, and strangely a young man knows already that she's visiting. Her name is Kyoko Byakuya. There is an eruption which destructs the whole village, and Kyoko Byakuya is the only person who survives this eruption. She's like wrapped in a cocoon and then rescued. And from there on, Kyoko Byakuya is a very special person. She like appears and disappears. She's also kidnapped by a cult who believes that she is interconnected with a kind of supreme being who has the overview over the whole universe. And from there on, also this story escalates quickly, and I quite liked it. I also liked the drawings a lot. I think it's one of his newer stories. Dissolving Classroom is another great story. This is a story of a pair of twisted siblings who create havoc over the whole country of Japan. There is Yuma, an older boy, I guess in his older teens, and Chizumi, she's like a grade schooler. Chizumi really looks like she's possessed by the devil. She attacks people on the street by random, and Yuma goes to the people and apologizes all the time. And when he apologizes a lot, people start to melt. Really, their brains start to melt. It's really horrific. The setup sounds strange, but it's actually quite good. There's one chapter in particular which I liked, in which Yuma has different girlfriends and he tells them how beautiful they are. And the more he praises them, the more their face starts to melt. And that was quite horrific to read. The last short story collection by Junji Ito I got is Venus in the Blind Spot. And let me tell you, this one is really great. I loved especially one short story. It's called The Enigma of Amigara Fault. And this is a story of a young woman, a young man traveling to a fault which was created after a large earthquake. And in this fault there are many human-shaped holes. And strangely enough, many people who have seen these faults on television, they travel to this fault and they discover that these holes actually have the shape of their own bodies. And so people start to enter these holes. These human-shaped holes are so deep, nobody knows how deep they are. And the people strangely are so attracted to these holes, they just go in and they disappear. And the ending of this story is it's pure horror. It's excellent. Some of the short stories are based on Edogawa Rampo's short stories. He was a famous novelist, detective novelist in the 1920s and 1930s Japan. So, Venus in the Blind Spot, I highly recommend this one. There's also a small poster inside, and this poster is based on I think drawings of Uzumaki, his most famous work. Look at these drawings, they're just great. And also the cover is really great. I got more Junji Ito in French, but I haven't read them yet completely. So Gyo, for example, the complete collection, it's still wrapped, so I haven't read it. Tomie, which I'm not finished yet. Then I got volume 1 and volume 2 of Les Déchéances d'un homme, or Failure as a Human, based on the novel by Dazai Osamu. The covers are especially beautiful. They have like this kind of shiny metallic look. And the main character in the front has a special texture. Also here. This is really great. So maybe it's something for you if you read French. It could be a good part in your collection. The last story collection I got by Junji Ito is Lovesickness. I haven't read this one yet. I just got it this week. I'm curious what it is about. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I got this really great art book called Twisted Visions. This one is also excellent. It contains absolutely beautiful artwork. What's also great about this art book is that there is a section at the end which explains all the different drawings in this art book, and there's also an interview. So there's an index of each individual drawing, which I like a lot because it's also written when the different artwork and the different manga were published in Japan. So that's my Junji Ito collection so far. I'm a beginner when it comes to Junji Ito, but I must say he's really a great artist and I'm really happy that I have discovered him. I've discovered him a little bit late, but better late than never. Are there any Junji Ito works which you know, or maybe some works which I haven't mentioned at all and don't have in my collection? Please let me know in the comments down below. Which Junji Ito manga do you like the most? In my case, my number one is definitely Uzumaki, but I also quite like some of the short stories in Venus in the Blind Spot. I quite liked Remina, and I would say also some stories in Shiver and Smashed. There is no manga which I would call is weak until now. I think they're all great. Thanks for watching until the end and see you next time. Goodbye!